Last time we spoke, it was over a month ago, 24 hours before the World Cup final, which the Springboks won. This time we're in beautiful Cape Town. I've got Skalkberger, Jean de Villiers with me, and a special guest, a World Cup winner. Dion Fourie just come into the house, and the Boks Office is now open. What was said halftime of the England game?
Sure, Shami? I can't actually remember that well. I've got a lot of stuff happened afterwards, trophy tours and all that stuff. So my few brain cells.
Okay, doesn't remember.
It's not here anymore.
My short term is gone. You know that you won the World Cup straight after. You remember?
No, I think the biggest thing that in the England game was their kicking game. We couldn't get into contest. Their bubble around their contestables was so good. We couldn't get into how we play and our defense, how we can get onto the front foot. That was I think that was the big chat at halftime, how to get around that good kicking game of England that put us under pressure. We
probably saw one of the great impact performances from Oxen Chair. From scrum. You hardly ever, a loose head prop almost turning. Obviously, it's a combination. There's the lock, the flanks, the hooker. But in terms of scrumming wise, you won't get many performances.
Yeah, I scrum behind him, so
you were there, so you'll claim that.
So
it's you. 10%.
It's not us.
We'll give you 10%. John Skalk, a lot of people say we're lucky. What's your take on that, guys? 3 1-point wins, but
No, it's so hard to say that the Boks were lucky because this group deserves it. You look at the teams we beat, 5 of the world top 6 to get there. It's the toughest route any team's ever had to win a World Cup, let alone back-to-back World Cups.
And it'll never happen again with the draw, with
the draw.
We'll get a better draw next time, definitely.
Well, with the next World Cup, we're going to 24 teams, so the intensity of your draw can't be... with the top 6 sides going to be spread out. If you took our pool where we played Scotland first game, that's the most important one. And then the intensity of that Irish game, yes, we could have had a result. Fair play to Ireland. They're a great side. Unfortunately for them, quarterfinal came back and knocked them out again. But I guess where the lucky part comes from is so often we've been involved in World Cups, John, and you play so well. You take our quarterfinal against Australia back in 2011, and we come up 2 points short. This time for the Boks.
Soon, Scala.
It's too soon. So
it's too soon. Let's not talk about that.
Outside South Africa, I'm more comfortable. Not yet. But
it's too soon.
You look at the tightness of those games and certain calls that go your way, or Henry Pollard's magnificent kick in the semi-final. Sometimes it's just your time. Things happen and goes your way. And the Boks had a lot of stuff roll their way in those big games. And whether that's through preparation or is it divine intervention? Is it your time? We don't know. But you can't say they were lucky.
Yeah.
It's also like, you always speak about the big moments in games.
Yeah, we won a lot of those.
And we won the big, I say in the quarterfinal, if Cheslin doesn't do the charge down, would you say he's a bad player if he doesn't go for it? It's actually not part of his job.
Yeah.
But he does that extra bit that eventually gets you the win.
Yeah, the small
so is that luck or is that just
the small things that people don't see on the TV screens? I think that was always a chat during the World Cup is keep on working, doing the small things that people don't see. But in the big picture for the team, if you look at it, it helps a lot. Yeah.
John, this management team, what makes them so good? It's a lot said obviously about Rassie and Jacques, but it's a whole collective. What's made them so good? 2 World Cup wins back to back. They've got to be doing something right.
Yeah, I think they've prepared for a long time, and like they said, there was always no egos. They say things straight, and then you talk about it. If you don't agree, you put your ego aside and you go on. I think the way they worked and the hours, the amount of hours they put in for us to play, it's astonishing. All the clips, all the PDFs that we get, it was amazing. So I think that's the amount of work as a collective behind the scenes was, I think.
But also, chaps, we've played with different coaches. How do they channel their energy right? Scala, for you, for example, maybe, let me ask you maybe, in terms of motivation, what worked for you from a coaching point of view? If a coach was talking to you, Jean, the same thing, Dion, the same thing.
Scala, nothing. I love to hear Scott.
I'm not too sure, really, guys. I never really thought of the game until I ran onto the field, and then I was
you didn't even warm up, did you?
No, I stood behind and tried to kick 10 torpedoes in a row, and that was, if I did that, I thought, okay, I'm up for today. But I guess, preparation beats pressure. And whenever I played, I wanted to know everything. You know, I wanted to know what
So
the back
preparation.
starters are, because if you don't know what the back starter is, then you can't get to the ball first. You know, as an open side flanker, you don't know how to run a little cheat line in behind because you think, okay, maybe this is a decent starter. John might get a half break and I can bounce off his shoulder. So for me, like I worked with Rassie for a long, long time, and I think that's a standout feature for him. So certain players can actually digest all the information, other players can't. You know, they need 3 jobs and that's it. 1 attack, 1 in defense, 1 in general play. And they've got to keep it simple for those players. But for me, main thing is enjoyment. But like I think when you're a national coach or the Boks coach, you're privileged in the fact that you've got not only great players, but you can be more intense than you can be in a facility like this where you've got to keep a season together. If you Dobbo here, you've got to manage all 65 players and you've got to try and keep all of them interested
For 12 months.
for 12 months.
Yeah.
Which is the biggest challenge. That's the harder challenge. You know, for the
Can't get
national
bored of
side,
the game, I suppose. Yeah.
you know, like World Cups are hard because you basically, Rassie's asking you to do 6 months in a bubble, go, let's go win a World Cup. But the rest of it is like quick little bounces in, bounces out, 4 weeks, 5 weeks stints, and you can have massive intensity and ask more of the players then than you can do in a whole season.
But it's having information, you know, understanding what you need to do out there and then going to do it. And the more information you get, the better you understand what is asked of you. I think the better the chance of you being able to go and implement that job. So, and that's where they're really good at. They get information about anything
box is
and
ticked, yeah.
everything. And also, I think to add is that the ability to make the tough decisions. You know, so you talk about that semi-final. You know, in a World Cup semi-final, taking your fly off, who's been fantastic for,
Got you there, yeah.
who got you then, has been great for the group, but being able to see that today is maybe not his day. Taking him off, your main decision maker basically in your group, you know, your quarterback, taking him off 30 minutes into a World Cup semi-final. And then after 50 minutes, taking off 3 of your biggest leaders, you know, Sia, Dwayne, Eamon, taking them off. Those are ballsy calls to make in such a pressure cooker situation. But they are willing to do that.
Well, 7-1 split is a
Yeah,
ball without a reserve
and
scrum
we'll
off,
get
yeah.
to that. But the ability to, because I don't think a lot of coaches in world rugby would actually be ballsy enough to do it. But the trust within the group, and also knowing that it's a group of 32, each guy knows what's expected of him and can do the job. And I think that trust basically won us the World Cup, because it wasn't just one guy. It was 32 plus management plus whatever that was willing to do. Was it 32 or 33?
33.
33.
33. Your days, 32.
Yeah. Our days was 15.
No, just to latch on that, I think the trust that the coaching staff put on every player,
Yeah.
like they put on the 15 and they say, go do your job. As soon as they see you slacking a bit or a bit tired, they'll pull you. Because they say, just an example, a 90% Eben is not better than 100% John Klein. So they've got the trust in the whole 33 squad, and they know everyone will back up everyone keep getting into those positions. So
And
on that, yeah.
Someone actually made a fantastic comment and said that, you know, we only had one player in the World Player of Team of the Year. Okay,
Shocking.
It was only Eben. No, but yeah, and it's a fantastic point. But he then said, if you were to select 4 world teams of the year, okay, A, B, C, and D team, you'll probably have 33 Springboks
Springboks, yeah.
in the 4 teams. And I think that's a great way in explaining the depth that we had within this Boks group, and that so many players, yes, you had your starting players, but if the next guy, I mean, we lost Malcolm Marks. It was probably, you know, arguably one of our best players.
Yeah, I would say it was.
Yeah, you know.
Comfortably, it was amazing.
But then you had Bongi, and then you had Brannas, and you had Marco van Staden being able to step in. And I think that's a great reflection of the group. It's a great reflection in terms of the preparation of the management team. And I think that's what got us through eventually.
Finally, guys, Rassie's been confirmed as head coach, I think, the next 2 years. Yeah. What are the big challenges?
There's definitely a transition. Jacques Nienaber, head coach, but also defensive coach. And we've all worked with him, all of us who's in this group. And we know how meticulous he is about the way we defend. We've got a unique style of defending. You know, there's no half measures. We go every single time. You know, there's not even like when he started here, and he was quite young as a defense coach, we had that little shadow call or whatever to get them to the touch. 4-on-2, 4, 5 on 3, they're still going. They're still defending the ball. So we've got massive challenge in replacing him, but also Felix Jones and the work he's put in behind the scene. He's gone off to England, but like he was our attack coach. So, I was really nervous for this, and I didn't know if Rassie had it in him to go head coach, but I think he's made the right decision by going head coach because, the next head coach has got to come from within. We can't get someone from else because Rassie's there, and you've got to have someone. You've got to have someone that can work with Rassie and not against him. Because we go look abroad. We've got some talented coaches. You think Frans Ludiger, 2 Super Rugbies, one the
Japan,
top league with Kubota, which by all means has never been a strong household name in their rugby. You think Johan van Gron, his experience he's built up over time. Johan Ackerman. But none of those can come across and work under the Rassie structure. I don't think Franco Smith doing really well at Glasgow. So, he's got to get someone from within his group. And I think it was too soon for those guys to handle this transition. And although our players, we've got the oldest team at the World Cup. A lot of them can still make it to the next World Cup, but not all of them. So
Are you available, Dion, for the next World Cup?
I'm still going.
Well, you need to sign a 2 years till 40. You'll be 42 by the next World Cup.
I'm going for the record for the oldest World Cup player.
So you've got to handle the transition from, letting the old guys carry on till a point, and then some of them's not going to make it to the World Cup. And that's a hard time for any team. You're going to go through that transition. And like we've had it in 2 World Cups where it happens 2 years before the World Cup.
Yeah, and I think you'll probably see the current coaching, so Zwandile Stek, Dion Davids, and Don Heeman taking more responsibility over the next 2 years, kind of, taking a little bit more on and kind of growing into those roles as well.